Hello everyone. Welcome to the session of Structural Organization in Animals, NCERT exercise. Disclaimer. So today's index, question 1 to question 2, that is NCERT exercise, and that is the NCERT based question. And we are having some more questions, that is from question 1 to 14. These are the NCERT based question, right? So here is the first question, that is from the NCERT, that is question, draw a neat diagram of digestive system of frog. So let us see the answer of this question. Digestive system of frog. So this is the digestive system of frog. What we see here? We see here that there is a liver. There is a liver. There is a gallbladder attached to it, right? And we are having this start from the esophagus. Esophagus. From the esophagus, what you see, there is a dilated part that is called as stomach. Okay, stomach. And from the stomach, there is a origination of a pipe-like structure that is called as intestine. Intestine, right? The intestine leads to the rectum part. And that rectum part is joined with the cloaca part. Cloaca. And this cloaca is a very unique feature of the frog. This cloaca open to the outer environment, or the external opening is there, that is called as cloacal aperture. And we all know that in mouth, the food is not digested. Okay. In case of human, we have seen that the digestion start in the mouth. But in the case of frog, as the food is not masticated or chewed because of the absence of such type of teeth, right? So there is just holding of a food material that could be any insect in the case of adult frog, right? So they just hold the food material in their jaws, and once it died, they swallow. They swallow that food material. So what is the organ that help in the swallowing of the food material? That is the pharynx region, right? Buccal cavity is there, and buccal cavity leads to the pharynx region. So in pharynx, there is no digestion takes place. No digestion takes place, right? But the digestion takes place in the stomach. The first time the digestion is started in the stomach only, right? After the pharynx, there is a esophagus. In this particular tube-like structure, it's a very small tube-like structure that joins the pharynx to the stomach. But here also no digestion takes place, right? In the stomach, there is a secretion of the gastric juice, and gastric juice consists of the three very important things: HCl, mucus, and pepsinogen. This pepsinogen get converted to pepsin in the presence of HCl. So HCl is also very, very important, right? HCl also provide the acidic medium, right? And there is some germs. Some germs could be present with the food material. So those germs get died in the presence of this HCl. The food then passes to the intestine and then to the rectum. But in the intestine, the major digestion takes place. Major digestion takes place there. Digestion of carbohydrate, protein, fat, all get digested there, right? And then it passes to the rectum, and the rectum is open to the cloaca region. So this is the diagram that was asked in the first question, that draw a neat diagram of the digestive system. So while drawing this diagram, you can skip this drawing of the heart part. You can skip the drawing of this kidney part also, because this is not the part of the digestive system, right? Okay, let's move to the next question. Mention the function of the following. Mention the function of the following. The first one is ureters in frog and B, Malpighian tubules. Let us see the answer. This was our question. Ureters in frog. A. Ureters in frog. Ureter act as a urinogenital duct. The two terms join together to form this one, urinogenital duct. Duct means a tube-like structure that is a common passage. This duct is a common passage for eradication of urine as well as the sperm in the case of male, right? And they carry sperm along with the urine. So both are not passes from this ureter at the same time. When there is a passage of the urine, okay, then at that time there will no passage for the sperm. But when the sperm is passing through this ureter, at that time urine will not pass through this ureter. So at a time, only one thing will be eliminated out from this ureter, right? So this ureter in frog is urinogenital duct in male frog. In male frog, not in the female. Very, very important point. Next, B, Malpighian tubule. This is the excretory organ that we see in the case of cockroach. Excretory organ that we see in the case of cockroach. Okay, now these are, from here we will have some NCERT based question, right? So the first question, that is, what type of skin do frogs have? The frog's skin is very, very important. So on that, this question is based. What type of skin do frogs have? Let us see the answer of this question. Frogs have thin, moist and permeable skin. Very important. Frog's skin is very thin and it is always moist because some glands are there that secrete out mucus to make it always moist when it is present on the land. But when it is present in the outer, in the on the land, at that time they secrete this mucus substance. But when it is present in the water, there is no need to secrete out mucus to make its skin wet, right? And it is permeable skin. Permeable skin means it can take the oxygen. It can take the oxygen that when it is present in the water. So dissolved oxygen that is present in the water, it can take that oxygen and eliminate out the carbon dioxide. So this skin is permeable for the exchange of gases, and that is helping in the process of, yes, cutaneous respiration. Cutaneous respiration. So it's often described as a smooth and slippery. The skin is always smooth and slippery, and it is plays a crucial role in the respiration through a process called cutaneous gas exchange, right? So the skin of frog is very, very important. You must have seen that the frog is active only in the time of rainy season, right? But at the time of summer and winter time, they go for the sleep. Summer sleep, that is called as estivation, and winter sleep, that is called as hibernation. At that time, this cutaneous gas exchange is responsible for the requirement of oxygen, because at that time all the metabolic activities is reduced, okay, and whatever the fat is stored in the body at that time, they use that fat for production of energy, because they don't take food at that time, right? All the metabolic activities of the organism is very, very low. So that time they require only little amount of oxygen. Little amount of oxygen. Sorry. And this cutaneous gas exchange is helping for the gaseous exchange at that time. So this means frog can absorb oxygen and release carbon dioxide through their skin. Yes. So it is helping in this gaseous exchange, oxygen and carbon dioxide. Here you can see in the diagram, cutaneous respiration. Cutaneous respiration, the skin is having this type of gland that is helping in the exchange of gases. It's very thin, very thin. And one more thing, the skin is smooth and slippery, so they can escape from their enemies, right? So skin is helping in two ways, cutaneous respiration and escaping from their enemies, right? Because it is always smooth and slippery, because it is wet. They make their skin always wet. Secretion of the mucus substances, but when it is in water, so water is there, so no need of secretion of the mucus at that time, right? Next question. What is unique about the frog tongue? So let us go to the answer part. Frog's tongue is unique due to its high speed adhesive properties, enabled by combination of a soft, right? It's having a very soft tongue, and but it is having the adhesive properties. Adhesive properties. So whenever they get in contact with the insects or any flies, they easily get stick to it, right? First point. Its tongue, viscoelastic and a unique reversible saliva. It is having the elasticity in it, right? So it can stretch to longer distance, and that is reversible also. They can retract the tongue in their mouth after capturing their prey. So this allows the frog to rapidly capture prey by wrapping its tongue around it and then easily retracting it, right? So retraction is very, very important, right? In the figure, you can see the tongue is there. The frog is taking out its tongue to capture the prey. As they are having a unique adhesive properties on their tongue, so these flies get easily stick to it, and due to its retracting properties, they retract the tongue and get the prey in their mouth, and easily they can eat that fly. So in this way, they can catch their prey. What is the role of cloaca in frog? Next question is regarding the cloaca. What is the role of cloaca in frog? So this is a very, very important question. Let us see the answer of this question. In frog, the cloaca serve as a single posterior opening for the digestive, urinary, and reproductive tract. There is single opening, and that is called as cloacal aperture. That is called as cloacal aperture, right? And this cloacal aperture is for elimination of the undigested food material. Whatever the undigested food material is thrown out or taken out from the body through this cloacal aperture. Another important thing, the production of the nitrogenous waste material that is stored ultimately in the urinary bladder. So time to time, that nitrogenous waste material is also eliminated out from this cloacal aperture, right? And there is a this is also working as a reproductive tract, because the gametes that is form the testes in the case of male, right? And the egg is formed in the ovaries in the case of female. So this ureter in the case of male is working as a urinogenital tract. So this sperm is also passes from this ureter and comes to this cloacal chamber. And through the cloacal aperture, time to time, it is eliminated out. Similarly, the female, they are having a different oviduct tube like structure that joins to this cloacal part. And this cloacal part open outside through a aperture that is called as cloacal aperture. So all the things, digestive, right? Digestive waste material, or you can say the undigested food material, okay, urine and the gametes all passes out through this opening. The rectum, which is a terminal part of the digestive tract, also open into the cloaca. And it acts as a common chamber where the feces, urine and the sperm, okay, eggs in the case of female and sperm in the case of male, are collected before being expelled from the body. Now, one thing is very, very important. All the three things is not eliminated out, okay, simultaneously. So once this, if the feces is passing out, at that time, the urine will not be discharged or the sperm will not be discharged in the case of male, right? And similarly, when the urine is passes, at that time, feces and the sperm will not be discharged. When the sperm will be discharged, then at that time, feces and urine will not be discharged, right? So at a time, one thing will only be discharged from the body, that is cloacal aperture. So here, this is one of the diagram that you can see, that is the female reproductive system showing the cloacal aperture. Now you can see in the diagram that the oviduct is having a long tube like a structure that joins to this cloaca, right? And there is a ureter part that is coming from the kidney, also joins to this cloaca, right? And this rectum part is joining to the cloaca. So you can see that this cloaca is having the exposure to the three different tracts, one from the digestive tract, one from the kidney, that is from by the ureter, and another by the oviducal tube, right? Next question. What is cutaneous respiration and pulmonary respiration in frog? Right? That is asking the difference between that. Let us see the answer of this question. In frog, cutaneous respiration is gas exchange through the skin, right? The cutaneous respiration means the skin is involved in the process of gaseous exchange, right? And that is why it is called as cutaneous respiration. Next is the pulmonary respiration. Pulmonary respiration. And in this, what is involved? Gas exchange through the lungs. And this we see in the case of adult frog. This we see in the case of adult frog, that they are having the lungs. But the tadpole, if you think about the tadpole in the case of frog, they are having gills and skin for the gaseous exchange, right? So pulmonary, whenever you heard about the term pulmonary is always related to the lungs. Cutaneous is related to the skin. Frog utilizes cutaneous respiration, being particularly important when they are submerged in water or during the hibernation, right? Not only for the hibernation, but it is also for the estivation, right? So here you can see the pulmonary respiration in frog. Pulmonary respiration in frog. They follow the pulmonary respiration taking when they are on the land, right? So here you can see from the nostril, the air passes to their buccal cavity. And in that time, the buccal cavity, okay, it lowers down. So large amount of air that get filled inside this buccal cavity, right? And at that time, what happened? After the air get filled inside this buccal cavity, right? Now, the buccal cavity rises up and nostril gets blocked, means they get closed. So what happens to the air? The air that is present in the buccal cavity passes to the lungs, passes to the lung. So in this way, the pulmonary respiration occur inside the body of the frog, right? And for the skin, what is involved? For the cutaneous respiration, skin is involved. So let us see the another question. Differentiate between the hepatic portal system and renal portal system in the frog. Let us see the answer of this question. So this is the difference of the hepatic portal system and the renal portal system. So definition, first thing, the definition of this: carries blood from the digestive tract and associated organs to the liver. Now, the veins that comes out from your digestive tract, in the case of frog, okay, our body is also having such type of system, hepatic portal system and the renal portal system, and the frog also, right? So what happens here? The veins comes out from the digestive tract, from stomach, from intestine, right? They get enters to the liver. They all join and they get enters to the liver. Hepatic, whenever the term hepatic you hear, it means that it is related to the liver, right? And the definition of the renal portal system, and whenever you heard this term renal, it is related to the kidney, right? So now let us see the definition of this renal portal system. It carries blood from the posterior body parts to the kidney. What are the posterior body parts? Okay. Posterior body part can be lower back, our legs in case of human, and in the case of frog, that is the hind legs, right? And all the blood that passes from this lower parts of the body, they get entered to this kidney. They get entered to the kidney. So it means that in the portal system, the veins are not directly going to the heart for the purification. Instead, they are entering to some organ, right? In case of hepatic portal system, the veins are entering to the liver. And in the case of renal portal system, the veins are entering in the kidney, right? Location. Where is the hepatic portal system located? It is located between the digestive organ and the liver, right? Because from the digestive organ only, the veins are emerging out and joins to the liver, enter to the liver. Renal portal system location, right? They are located between the posterior body parts and the kidney. Origin. Hepatic portal system formed by the union of capillaries from the stomach, intestine, pancreas, and spleen. So these are the organs that are related to the digestion, right? So from all these organs, the veins comes out and joins one single vein and get enter inside the liver. Similarly, the origin of renal portal system formed by the bifurcation of the caudal vein and receives blood from the sciatic and femoral vein. So these are the veins that comes from the lower parts of the body, from the legs, from the lower back, right? And all they joins and get enter inside the kidney, that is the renal organ. So here in the diagram, you can see, right? You can see this stomach, you can see the intestine, right? And different veins coming out from this organ, and they join together to form this hepatic portal. Now this hepatic portal vein joins to this liver, right? Now see here, this is the sciatic vein, this is the femoral vein, that is the pelvic vein, right? The three different veins coming from the lower parts of the body, they joins together, this femoral and sciatic. You can see here they joins and they get enter inside the kidney. They get enter inside the kidney and emerge out as a one vein. So this is the renal and hepatic portal system. Some more differences are there. Main vessel. What is the main vessel in the case of hepatic portal system? That is the hepatic portal vein. And similarly for the renal portal system, the main vessel or the main vein, vessel is here the vein, and that is the renal portal vein, right? What is the destination in the hepatic portal system? Liver. And what is the destination? Destination means this hepatic portal vein is entering to the liver. That is the destination. And this renal portal vein is entering to the kidney. That is the destination for the renal portal system, right? Function. What is the function of this? Why these veins are entering to this particular organ? Think about this. Coming to the function. Transport nutrient absorbed from the digestive tract to the liver for processing. There is still requirement of the processing, right? So whatever the nutrients has been absorbed from the digestive tract after the process of digestion, that is taken to the liver, right? What about the renal portal system? There are many nitrogenous waste substances that has been formed in the lower parts of the body. So that should be removed. That should be removed before it goes to the heart and lung for the purification. So they are taken to the kidney part, and it helps in excretion by carrying the waste products to the kidney. So there the waste, nitrogenous waste material is eradicated there, right? Blood type. Now here the hepatic portal system, here the deoxygenated blood, but it is rich in nutrient. The blood is deoxygenated, it's still having the carbon dioxide in it, because the carbon dioxide will be removed once it goes to the lung only, right? But here one thing you can see, the blood is having a lot of nutrient because it has came from the digestive tract, and the further processing has been taken place in the liver part. Renal portal system. What is the blood type? Again here, the blood is deoxygenated blood and metabolic waste has been removed out. The nitrogenous waste, once it passes through the kidney, right? All the nitrogenous waste has been removed out. Some other differences. Capillary network. Forms capillary in the liver. Hepatic sinusoids. Okay. So you can just think about that capillaries are, because once the vein enter inside the liver, it divides into the minute capillaries, right? Similarly for the renal portal system, they forms the capillaries in the kidney. Exit. How they exit? The blood leaves via hepatic vein. So think about this. When the vein enter inside the liver, it was hepatic portal vein. But once it leaves the liver, it forms hepatic vein. And later on, it joins to the posterior vena cava. This is the exit in the hepatic portal system. Now, similarly for the renal portal system, what happens here? The blood leaves the renal veins to the posterior vena cava. When it enters to the kidney, it was renal portal vein. But when it exits to the from the kidney, it was renal vein. And this renal vein later joins to the posterior vena cava. This posterior vena cava is also called as inferior vena cava. The thickest vein, right? It joins to this thickest vein, vena cava. And this vena cava opens to the heart. Okay? Right atrium. Significance. What is the significance of such type of portal system? For the hepatic portal system, it is important for the metabolism and detoxification. Yes, the metabolism got improved once it get entered inside the liver. In the liver, whatever the toxic substances were present in the blood, that is also eliminated out. That is, detoxification process has been taken place in the liver part. Significance of the renal portal system. It aids in the excretion as well as the osmoregulation, right? Next question. How do ureter differ in the case of male and female frog? How the ureters are different in the case of male and female frog? Let us see the answer of this question. In male frog, the ureters serve as a dual purpose, acting as a urinogenital duct that carry both urine and sperm to the cloaca. Yes, because here the ureter is a common opening for the passage for the urine, nitrogenous waste substance, right? And it also having the same, this is acting as a same passage for the removal of the sperm, right? So that is why it is called as urinogenital duct. Dual purpose it is serving. And this duct opens to the cloaca. Now let us see in the case of female frog. The ureter are solely responsible for carrying urine. Okay, only urine passes from the ureter in the case of female frog. But for the gamete, the female gamete, the eggs, they are passes from the oviduct, and this oviduct tube joins directly to the cloaca. It never passes to the ureter part. So this is the difference that we see in the case of male frog and female frog. Very, very important. You can see from this figure. Let us see the figure. This is the ureter coming out from the kidney, you can see, right? And that is why it is called as urinogenital duct, because the testes is attached to it. Testes produces sperm in the seminiferous tubules. From the seminiferous tubules, the sperm comes to the vasa efferentia. And from the vasa efferentia, the sperm goes to where? It goes to Bidder's canal. And Bidder's canals passes inside this kidney and leads to the ureter. Yes, this is the passage for the testes. Testes where the sperms are produced. Now, kidney. Inside the kidney, whatever the nitrogenous waste substances, they are filtered out and they passes through this ureter. This passes through this ureter only. And time to time, it gets stored in the urinary bladder. So this we see the common duct, urinogenital duct. Now see in the case of female frog. Now from the female frog, this is the position of the ovary. And from the ovary, all the eggs are released in this body cavity only. They are released in the body cavity. And all the eggs are captured by this oviduct. You can see this is a funnel-like opening. And all the eggs comes to this oviduct. They capture. This oviduct can move here and there and it can capture whatever the eggs are coming out from the ovary. So that egg passes through this tube-like structure. You can see this tube-like structure that joins directly to the cloaca. So this eggs never passes through this ureter. Only for the nitrogenous waste material right? That passes through this ureter, goes to the cloaca, and from the cloaca, it gets stored into the urinary bladder. And time to time, it is eliminated out from the body. So this is the difference that we see in the case of male and female for the ureter working. Let us see another question. What is the function of sinus venosus? Sinus venosus. Let us see the answer. In the frog's heart, the sinus venosus act as a reservoir for deoxygenated blood. It is a reservoir for the deoxygenated blood. Reservoir means where the blood can be stored, right? It receives from the body's vein before it enters to the right atrium. Before entering to the right atrium, okay, this particular part, sinus venosus, it receives all the deoxygenated blood. So it plays a very crucial role in initiating and regulating the heartbeat. So once it get enter from this opening, okay, it goes to the arterial part. So this is also regulating the heartbeat, the rhythmic contraction and relaxation of the heart. You can see the sinus venosus, this part, sinus venosus. And you can see the posterior vena cava. This is the vena cava, thickest vein. All the veins from the lower parts of the body joins to this posterior vena cava and makes the thickest vein, right? So this vein coming here. And we are having the right vena cava and left vena cava. That is the vein that is collecting all the veins from the superior part of the body, or you can say the upper part of the body, right? So they also joins, and you can see this is a triangular shape like structure. It is a triangular shape like structure that can store the or working as a reservoir for the collection of deoxygenated blood, right? So this is very, very important, sinus venosus. What is conus arteriosus in frog? What is conus arteriosus? Let us see the answer of this question. In frog, the conus arteriosus is a cone-shaped structure located on the ventral side of the heart. It is again a cone-shaped structure that is placed at the ventral side, not the dorsal side. And it is present specifically at the origin of the pulmonary artery. Where the pulmonary artery is there only this cone-shaped structure is present. It is a muscular pouch that emerges from the bulbus cordis. And it plays a crucial role in directing the blood flow within the heart. Let us see the diagram of this conus arteriosus. You can see this is the conus arteriosus, right? So the pulmonary vein is there that is joining, and this conus arteriosus is there. So once the blood has to pass from the body, it passes through this path, conus arteriosus, and it contains the spiral wave. At this particular point, they are having the spiral wave that aids in separating the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. So this conus arteriosus, though in the case of in the ventricle region of the frog, the blood get mixed. The pure blood and impure blood get mixed, and that is why it is represented here as a violet color, because it is having the three-chambered heart now. So from this right atrium, the impure blood is also poured here, and from the left atrium, the pure blood is also poured in this ventricle, and the blood get mixed. But due to the presence of this conus arteriosus, right, a cone-shaped structure, it do not allow for some time the blood get mixed, and it takes the major part of the pure blood, right? And because of its spiral wave, That is why this point is very, very important. It contains a spiral valve that help in separating the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. And eventually it take a lot of the oxygenated blood here and passes to the whole parts of the body, right? Next question. What is the function of Bidder's canal in frog? Very important question. Bidder's canal. Let us see the answer of this question. In male frog, Bidder's canal function as a crucial part of the reproductive and urinary system, right? It is a part of the reproductive system as well as the urinary system. How it is? Let us see. It acts as a conduit transporting the sperm from the testes to the urinogenital tract, right? This is the connection, that is vas efferentia and ureter. In between the vas efferentia and ureter, what is present? Kidney. And inside the kidney, there is a tube-like structure that joins the end of the vas efferentia and starting of the ureter, right? So this tube-like structure provide the passage for the sperm that comes out from the vas efferentia and leads to the ureter through this Bidder's canal. It also serves as a pathway for urine, right? Because it is having the common opening, that is the ureter. So this canal is located within the kidney of the male's frog, And sometimes it is called as a rudimentary ovary, the ovary which is not functional, right? So in the case of male, inside the kidney, there is a Bidder's canal that joins to this urinogenital tract. So this is the importance or the function of the Bidder's canal in the case of frog. Let us see another question. What are the key components of the female reproductive system in a frog, and how do they facilitate the external fertilization? Because in the case of frog, we see external fertilization. So how this female reproductive system is going to help in the external fertilization? Let us see the answer of this question. The female reproductive system in frog is adapted for the external fertilization and comprises several key components that facilitate this process. Let us see that. The first point, they are having the different components, right? The first component is ovaries. The ovaries are the primary reproductive organ in the case of female, right? And that produces egg, which is also called as ova. They are typically paired structure located in the abdominal cavity. In the abdominal cavity, they are attached to the kidney. They are attached to the surface of the kidney through a membrane, right? That membrane is called as mesovarium. Now, the second part, oviduct. It is not totally attached to the ovary, right? Oviduct is not attached to the ovary. So these are long coiled tubes that transport the eggs from the ovaries to the outside environment. Very, very important point. The oviduct, the top point of the oviduct, they are funnel in shape and they are having an opening that is called as ostia. So whenever the eggs are released from the ovary, this funnel shaped oviduct moves towards the ovary, and whatever the eggs are released from that, it takes inside the ostia and passes the tube-like structure that leads to the cloaca part. So they involved in the secreting layers of jelly around the egg, which provide protection and aid in the buoyancy, right? While passing through this tube-like structure, you can see this tube-like structure is very, very long, right? So when they passes through this tube-like structure, the jelly-like substances is added along the surface of the egg. Okay, and this is providing protection from the outer environment, as well as adding buoyancy, because they are laid in where? Because they are laid in water, so they need buoyancy. Next, ovisac. They are having the ovisac chambers. So there is an expanded region near the oviduct where the eggs are temporarily stored before they are released to the outside environment. Okay, this tube-like structure elongate, dilated when they joins to the cloacal part, right? And here, for the temporary time, these eggs are stored here. Cloaca. Now, the cloaca is the common chamber into which the urinary, digestive, and reproductive tracts open. The egg passes from this oviduct into the cloaca and are laid in the external environment. So now you understand why this oviduct and this uh, ovisac chambers are important, because the jelly-like substances are added to this egg, right? If they passes through this ureter, they have to pass through that urine. They have to pass through this urine. And in that case, the eggs may get damaged. The eggs may get damaged. So that is why they are having the different passage through the oviduct, through the this ovisac chambers, and later on they are released into the cloaca, and from the cloaca they passes out to the external environment through this cloacal aperture. Now, facilitation of external fertilization. How this is helping in the external fertilization? Release of eggs and sperm. Number 1 point, female frog lay eggs in water where the male fertilize them externally. So at the time of copulation, what happened? The female frog, okay, the male frog hold the female frog with the help of their nuptial pads, which are present on the one of the first finger of the male frog, right? And that is also called as copulatory pads. So at that time, what happened? The female lay eggs. At the same time, the female releases sperm over the egg, right? And this is occurring externally to the body. Means external fertilization is taking place here. The eggs are coated in a gelatinous layers by the oviduct, protect them from desiccation and predators. There are many predators that can be present in water, right? So for the protection of the egg, it is laid inside the jelly-like substances. And the sperms which are released from the male are capable to enter inside these eggs and do the process of fertilization. Amplexus. This is a mating behavior where the male frog grasps the female from behind, right? It holds the female frog from the behind. And for this grasping, I told you that this nuptial pads or the copulatory pads of that is present on the one of the finger, or you can say the first finger of the male frog, is helping. The male releases a sperm over the egg as the female lays them, and ensuring that the fertilization occur externally. It never happens that the female will lay egg and whenever the male will get the time or see that there is an egg, at that time it releases the sperm over it. No, it never happened like that. The male and female hold together, do the process of copulation, and at that time This egg and sperms are released simultaneously, so the fertilization could take place externally, right? In this way, this reproductive system of the male and female are planned in such a way because they have to do the fertilization process external to their body. Describe cutaneous and buccopharyngeal respiration in frog. This is the next question. Buccopharyngeal respiration. Let us see the answer of this question. Cutaneous respiration we have discussed about. Cutaneous and buccopharyngeal respiration in frog are the two important mechanisms for the gas exchange. Here's the detailed description. Cutaneous respiration. First of all, so the gas exchange that occurs directly through the skin. Skin is thin, always kept moist by the frog. So it is helping in the process of gaseous exchange, right? Gaseous exchange. Accounts for approximately 20 to 25% of oxygen uptake when active and 100% during the hibernation. So when they are active means when they are present on the land or in the water at that time, 20 to 25% of respiration is taken by the skin, cutaneous respiration. But at the time of hibernation or estivation, 100% respiration is taken care by this type of mechanism, cutaneous respiration. Oxygen diffuses from air through the moist skin into the blood capillaries, right? Because if the skin is moist, so oxygen can diffuse through this moist skin and enter inside the blood capillaries, which is very, very near to the skin. Carbon dioxide diffuses out through the skin into the outer environment. And whatever the carbon dioxide that are present inside the body through the blood capillaries, it can passes out to the external environment through the skin only. They require skin to remain moist for the effective gas exchange. So if they want to this gas exchange to be done effectively, so they have to keep their skin moist always. Essential for survival during hibernation. And this is the very, very important for the frog at the time of doing hibernation or estivation. Because at that time, metabolic activities are slowed down and only a small amount of oxygen is required. So that is taken care by this cutaneous respiration. Supplements to the pulmonary respiration, right? So whenever the frog is not doing this pulmonary respiration, so the respiration is done by the skin, cutaneous respiration. Another type, that is the buccopharyngeal respiration. The gas exchange occurs through the lining of the mouth cavity and the pharynx. Okay, when the frog open its mouth, what you see? Buccal cavity. Buccal cavity. And this buccal cavity leads to the pharynx. So they are having a very thin lining of the skin inside. The lining of this is very, very thin. And from there also the gaseous exchange takes place. Supplements both for the cutaneous as well as the pulmonary respiration. Highly vascularized mouth and the throat lining. So the lining of the throat and mouth is highly vascularized. Means the blood capillaries are present below the lining of this mouth and throat. Flexible floor of mouth. Buccal floor is flexible. So they can open whenever they want it. And specialized muscle for the buccal pumping. Oxygen diffuses through this mouth and throat lining into the blood. So oxygen, which is present inside the buccal cavity, it easily passes to the blood capillaries and they get dissolved in the blood which is present there. They can give out the carbon dioxide. Similarly, it passes out through the buccal cavity as well as the pharynx region, and it is eliminated out into the outer environment, right? Next question, describe the pericardium and its role in protecting the frog's heart. Pericardial membrane is there, right? So let us see the answer of this question. The pericardium is a thin, transparent membrane that forms a protective sac around the frog's heart. Okay? It is a membrane-like structure that is present all over the heart. And you can see there is a wall of the heart and there is a membrane. In between the wall of the heart and this pericardial membrane, there is a fluid filled. That fluid is called pericardial fluid, right? So it consists of two layers. The outer fibrous layer, we are talking about this pericardial membrane. An outer fibrous layer that provide structural support, and inner serous layer that provide pericardial fluid. So pericardial fluid is made by this serous layer only. Pericardial fluid lubricates the heart's movement. So there is always requirement of this fluid because it makes the heart always wet. A sort of lubrication is provided by this fluid to the heart. It also reduces the friction during the cardiac contraction. When there is a contraction and relaxation, so that reduces the friction because the liquid substance is there, the pericardial fluid. So it reduces the frictional force. And whatever the pressure that is provided from the external environment, it also reduces that. So entire pericardial structure helps anchor the heart in place within the body cavity. It also provides protection from the external forces and infection. So it reduces the infection also. So this is the importance of this pericardium. Next question, describe the process of metamorphosis in frog. Frog metamorphosis begins with a fertilized egg hatches into a tadpole. So from the fertilized egg, what comes out? Tadpoles. Tadpole has a tail and gills for aquatic life because they are live in the aquatic environment. So they required gills for the process of respiration, right? And tail for the movement process. As the tadpole grows, it develops hind legs followed by the front leg. Okay. First of all, the hind legs develop and later on the front legs develops. Its tail gradually shortens and the gills are replaced by the lungs. Slowly and slowly, the tails disappear and the lungs develop. Gills also disappear. So in the final stage, what we see, the tail disappear completely. There is no tail present and the eyes and mouth enlarge. So this change you see from the tadpole to the tadpole with two legs, tadpole with four legs, and ultimately is transforms into the adult frog. So this change is called as metamorphosis, right? Metamorphosis. Next, last question, describe the digestive system of frog. So ingestion is there. The process begins with the frog capture prey with the sticky bilobed tongue, which is attached at the front of the mouth and free at the back. Buccal cavity. Now food passes to the buccal cavity. What happens here? The mouth open into the buccal cavity, a space inside the mouth where the food is initially processed. No digestion is taking place, but yes, the food is kept here for some time. Esophagus. The esophagus is the short tube that connects the buccal cavity to the stomach part. And what happens in the stomach? The first time the digestion starts here because the stomach breaks down the food by mixing it with the digestive acid. Okay, gastric juice is there that is having the HCl, mucus, and Pepsin enzyme. The enzyme is here, that is the pepsin. So a sort of protein digestion takes place in the stomach. Small intestine. The partially digested food now called chyme, though the food which is present in the stomach now, the digested part is called as chyme. That move from the stomach into the small intestine. And small intestine is having the two parts, duodenum and ileum. The duodenum receives the bile from the liver and pancreatic juice from the pancreas, which further aid in the digestion and nutrient absorption. The ileum is a coiled portion where the most nutrient absorption occurs through the villi and microvilli. So this ileum part is having the microvilli, and that helps in the process of absorption of digested food material. Large intestine. Undigested waste moves into the large intestine, and whatever the water is present there, that is absorbed. And feces are formed, the undigested food material, that is passes to the rectum part. Cloaca. The rectum, a short widened section, stores the feces before they are expelled through the cloaca, a common chamber for the waste and reproductive products. Digestive glands. Two digestive glands are there. The liver that produces bile, which helps in the fat digestion, and pancreas, very important, that is responsible for the digestion of carbohydrate proteins. These are released into the duodenum part only. So this is all about today's session. Thank you very much for attending today's session.